Good evening, Primetime Squad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing this Monday evening? I know it's late. I know it's late. I couldn't actually get away from some of the other YouTubers' videos. It's like so much going on in these streets. Um, if you peruse these streets long enough, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Everybody's uploading videos and everybody's throwing shade and accusations and restraining orders and all kind of stuff in these YouTube streets. So I got kind of caught up and didn't realize how late it was getting. But anyway, I wanted to bring you my review of the Housewives of Atlanta tonight. So I hope you guys all got a chance to watch it. We actually had to wait, a little longer for this episode because of the fact, last weekend it didn't play. It didn't show. They didn't show the episode last weekend because, of course, the Super Bowl. And what's more important, the Super Bowl or the Housewives? So I'm sure it was the Super Bowl. But anywho, did you guys watch the last episode? If you did, let me know what you think about it. Also, hit me up in the chat. Let me know who's watching. Give me a shout out or whatnot. But anyway, this episode was really an emotional episode, and a lot of people was going through a lot of personal things, in their lives this last episode. But we're going to jump right into it and discuss it. At the beginning of the show, well, last show or the last episode they was on, Nene was in her fifis. She was dealing with her and Greg's situation. Greg is trying to get through this cancer. He got another surgery coming up. And when they have thought that he was free and clear of cancer, when they did a test, they found out that there are some really, really micro size, basically cancerous cells, and they was talking to him about getting chemo. Greg still doesn't want to get chemo. Nene's like, okay, whatever Greg wants to do, that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to pressure him. It's his body. It's his cancer, So you gotta let people deal with, their sickness the way they want to deal with it. So that's what they're still going through right now. And last episode, she had got into it with Tanya. That was real bad. So anyway, we picked up, they started off with Portia. And Portia, she's pregnant. She's getting bigger every day, and she is, you can really tell that she's really, really happy, with her situation that she's in. Portia has been wanting a baby forever. She has been wanting a successful relationship forever. And I truly think that Portia's really happy, albeit all the things we keep hearing about Dennis and his past. Last episode, she was talking to Dennis, before she went out of town, and she was showing her concerns like, dude, why is you still, in contact with your ex after we had made promises to each other that we were going to cut ties to all our exes? Obviously, he was still, in communication with his, friendly communication with his ex. So anywho, she had received a big old bouquet of flowers and was really excited. And she called him, they talked, chopped it up. It seems all is well with Portia. I'm extremely happy for Portia, regardless of all the stuff that Candy was spreading around, about Dennis and his MOs, like tattooing everybody's, all his ex's names on his body, which I still don't understand. I can see you having one tattoo of somebody in your life, a significant other, a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatnot. But every person that you date, they gotta be dragging it. They gotta be dragging it. I can't possibly believe he got all the exes of his, their name tattooed on his body somewhere. But, along with the rollies, him buying all his girlfriend's Rolexes and just different things. And on top of that, still being in contact behind Portia's back, with his ex. She seems, to be in a better place, a better position, this episode. So, I'm glad, because who wants to stress, over a man during your pregnancy? That's not good. That's not good at all for the mom or the baby. But then they switched over to Tanya. And Tanya, she was preparing the bachelorette party, for Eva, and which she was really surprised. Like, they were there for a bachelorette trip, a bachelorette party. So I think Eva kind of expected somebody was going to throw something together, but I didn't think she expected it to be Tanya. Like, Tanya was the one that's going to pull it off. But anywho, she had everything going on. I mean, the food, the treats, the desserts, the drinks. I mean, it was set up really, really nice. And on top of that, she had, decided to have a PJ party. A grown folks pajama party. And I don't know if y'all ever been to a grown folks pajama party, but I actually threw a couple of them. I've been a host to a couple of grown folks pajama jams, and they are really, really fun. So maybe one day, get your girls together, have it either like an all girls thing, or you can do a couples thing. Invite your couple friends over and everybody wear their jammy jams and you play games, and it's really, really fun. But anywho, when they had got on the subject of Dennis telling Paul, which is Tanya's man, that he's marrying Portia, Cynthia was like, hold up, wait a minute. You and Dennis getting married? Now, that was news to everybody. Even though they had went, they looked at rings and everything, I think that they're like, okay, Portia, we understand you're happy. You got your baby, you got your man, but you thinking about marriage, and they're probably counting the months that they've been together. Everything is just moving so fast. But I don't know. We shall see. They already went looking at rings. So I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I mean, they are moving really fast. And Portia have, made a lot of bad choices in her past when it came to relationships and falling for men. And I just hope, everything works out okay. I really do. I hope everything works out okay. But then Candy, for some reason, Candy seems to be feeling a little different, about Dennis. And before, Candy was like the main one, in everybody's ear, telling everybody about Dennis and about his past and all these different women he's dated, and he's like a ladies' man. She was the one who was throwing, all those stories around and stuff. Rumors, tea, whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, like I said, him still being in contact with his ex, the one that happened to get into a Portia at Todd and Candy's party. But it seems like she's throwing up the red flag. Like, finally accepting the fact that Dennis might end up really being in Portia's life. And possibly till death do them part. Imagine that. But what do y'all think about Candy? Okay. When they had the pajama jam. And I'm like, hold up. Did somebody not get the memo? I'm looking at everybody. I mean, everybody got on their pajamas. They got on their pajamas. But they're all cute and they're sexy and hot, and I'm like, what does Candy have on? Like, really? What? And Candy was like, hold up, why y'all all looking so, cute, and ain't there supposed to be a pajama? Candy, she was like, okay, I'm up here, the only one in the room, looking like I got on my grandma's pajamas. I was like, yeah, you really are dressed really down. I'm like, did they do that on purpose? Why is everybody else dressed up like everybody else knew? Portia had on some stilettos. Mind you, she's pregnant. But she had on some stilettos and looking all cute with her tight little tummy fitting, get up and everything. And then we have Candy. Looking like she wearing some pajamas that should have been thrown out, years ago. But anyway, they had a great time. They was enjoying themselves and everything. And I'm like, okay, Nene, this is supposed to be a fun evening, exciting, fun. They're gonna play games. It's a bachelorette party. So she came right in, sat down, like plopped right down next to Cynthia. Was that Cynthia? I think that was Cynthia she was sitting next to. And she immediately started, okay, while Tanya is running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to make everything perfect for Eva and perfect for the ladies, she done moved on. Okay, Nene, you done shaded me out this entire season. You done chopped me down like a tree this entire season. You don't give a damn about me or my man. You done made that very clear. Tanya has moved on. She basically ignoring Nene, but not being like shady. You know how you can be grown and stuff, and you can be around somebody and not be phased. That was Tanya. On the other hand, Nene was sitting over there. She just don't understand. She just don't get it. Tanya has moved on. She's like moved on. If Nene and her don't get their relationship back on track before this season end, I cannot see Tanya on the next season. I really can't. I think she's just trying to get through it to the end of the season, just trying to get through it, keep getting a few more checks. That's what I think, but we'll see. You'll let me know what y'all think. But anyway, her and Greg, they've been beefing and, she's stressed out. She's under pressure. But like I said before, she continually taking it out on Tanya, who I believe, it's pretty obvious. She's the weakest link of the group. So I think that's why Nene, although, like I said at the beginning of the season, this my girl Tanya. We know each other from da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, she's this, she's that, and, just full of kind words for her. And then after that, it just went downhill. It just went downhill. But I think, again, Tanya is weak. Like, she might be strong in other areas, she's beautiful, she's smart, she has her own business, she's business savvy, but she need to grow some balls. If she really wants to survive another season of the Housewives, she really need to grow them, buy them, rent them. But she need to get some balls real soon. But as far as the stripper, y'all, oh my god, the stripper. What do y'all think about the stripper? I was like, Lord, what is going on? Where did she find him? And they call him Golden Boy. Golden Boy? Like, is this a Japanese thing? Like, the golden child, the golden... I don't know. But anyway, they named him, well, his name is Golden Boy. And I'm up here, like, watching him do his little... I don't know what he was doing or what that was in the crack of his you-know-what. I was like, what is he wearing? In the front, it looked like a pamper. It looked like a grown person's pamper in the front. It looked like he had a Depends in there. It looked like, I don't know, like an old t-shirt, an old rat twisted and tied up, and he had it roped between the crack of his you-know-what. I'm like, what is this little man? Yes, I said little man wearing. I don't know. I done seen some strippers. I done been to some bachelorette parties, and I'm like, Lord, is this the best they could do over there? Is this the best they could do? But then, when he sat down next to, was it Marlo? I think it was, no. It was Eva. When he sat down next to Eva, he crossed his legs all proper and ladylike. That's when I was really confused. I was like, okay, what is he doing? He sat there and he put his hand on his knee and he started rubbing all over his legs and I hope they got their money back. I hope they got their money back. And where was his package? Like, whatever that thing was that he was wearing, he ripped that off, and then he had on this little thong with no thong. Where was his package? Now, I don't want to be stereotypical. But, where was his package? Where was his package? It was like, what the heck? It looked like I'm telling you, it looked like a little kid that was playing in front of his sister's girlfriends, his sister's homegirls, like just trying to be, okay, little boy. Anyway, there was nowhere to put a tip. But anyway, moving right along. When Nene called Greg, and she was trying to tell him, what she was going through, how she was feeling, how she wasn't having a good time in Tokyo. And she was blaming it on their situation. Like, I'm not having a good time over here because of what me and you got going on. You can really tell that both of them, that they're in their feelings. They're both overwhelmed, stressed out, emotions all over the place. Like, all over the place. And she has really tried to be, very strong for him for a very long time during this whole process of him being sick. And he's dealing with the cancer head on. I want to say as best he could. At the beginning of the season, it seemed like Greg was really like determined, to fight this cancer, to get through this cancer, to to kick this cancer's ass. That's what he said. I don't know if y'all remember, but that's what he said. And I'm like, I don't know. Do y'all get the feeling like Greg kind of, I hope he's not giving up. I really hope he's not giving up. I think Nene has been so strong for him for so long, and I think she's kind of been an enabler to him, for him to push all his anger, not with the cancer, you know what I mean? Like, all the bad negative energy that he feels because of the cancer, he's like shoving it on her. Because she's right there. She's like his main caregiver. Of course, his sons are around. His friends are there. But Nene is right there. And I think I said probably a couple episodes ago that I don't think Greg really wanted Nene to go on that trip. I don't want to use the word spoiled, because that's probably not the best word to use in this case. But I'm just trying to be really descriptive of how I think Greg is feeling. Like, he's used to Nene being around. He's used to her helping to take care of him, helping to keep his spirits up, motivate him, pray for him, And I think he feels that she shouldn't be trying to go overseas to another country while he's dealing with this cancer battle. I don't know. And it's like, again, he's dealing with it head on. And I think he probably feels like he's the one going through the cancer, per se. Or going through this battle, per se. A lot more than her. Because he's the one who's sick. He's the one who's sick. But a lot of people who's sick and have, like, diseases, like cancer or, diseases that can take you out, just like that. They feel like the person's taking care of them. Sometimes don't understand what they're going through. And of course, you can't, how do you say, you can't empathize with them because you're not going through the cancer. You don't have the cancer, but you going through it with them. You're still going through it with them. You fighting them. I mean, they married. It's till death do they part. And I don't know. I said before, I think they should go see a counselor. I don't know if they're seeing a counselor because we never see them see a counselor. We've never seen them go talk to a therapist. I really think that they should probably go see a therapist Because cancer, I mean, everybody knows it can, boy, it can ruin a family. Like, not only losing somebody if they happen to die, but it can suck up a lot of your energy, a lot of your emotions, a lot of your money. Like, a lot of your money. Even if you got the best insurance, them medicines are expensive. And they just going through a lot. They going through a lot. And the person that, although the pain and the hurt that somebody feels, um, who is about to like lose a loved one to cancer, it might be a different feeling from somebody who is actually the sick person. But the caregiver still, in their minds, they sometimes wonder or think about the possibility of them dying. Like, I'm sure Nene thinks about this all the time, especially when they thought they kicked cancer's ass and it was gone, and then to find out it's not coming back, and then to find out Greg doesn't want to do chemo, and she's there for him, and she has said it several times. If he don't want to do chemo, Greg does not have to do chemo. It's his own choice. So some people, think differently about chemo. Some people's like, oh, it's good for you, it can help you fight. And then some people, oh, chemo is what kills people. I done heard people say it all the time. Chemo is what kills people. So, as far as the sick person, once you're gone, you're gone. But then the people they leave behind, they have to, they grieve forever. Sometimes the rest of their life. And they try to continue to go on, without their loved ones. So it's like, the pain is different. The fears are different from the sick person and the caregiver. But I think it's like the pressure is equally the same. And Greg, for some reason, I think he looks at Nene like, what's your problem? Why are you feeling like this? I'm the one who's sick. I'm the one who should be depressed. I'm the one who should be, they feel like they go through it alone. No matter how much you help it. I think Greg just thinks like, I'm going through this alone. She done left. She done went to Tokyo, Japan. She's partying. She's kicking it while I'm here with an upcoming surgery. So, I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. But anyway, I think they do need some therapy. Bottom line, therapy, counseling, church, pastor, something, somebody to talk to and help get them through this. But as far as Cynthia, I should have known that it would be Cynthia that she finally breaks down to. Like, again, we see her, Nene, being very, very strong, holding it all in. I mean, trying to hold in the tears, trying to be like this force of strength that can't be broken. But because of Cynthia, and her having a great relationship, that's probably the reason why she ended up breaking down with Cynthia. I mean, she finally just was like, she couldn't hold it anymore. I mean, she started crying, started telling her, everything that she was feeling. She finally let her walls down and let the tears flow and, start letting it out. She really has been needing somebody to confide in. And it wasn't that they weren't there, because Nene has friends. She has family. So it wasn't like her support system wasn't there. It was just Nene is that kind of person who she don't want nobody to see her weak. That's all that was. But finally, I'm glad she confided in somebody. And those type of feelings, you just can't keep them inside of you. You really can't, because those feelings can sometimes fester and take over. And the last thing I want to see is Nene going off on Greg. Because Greg has been pissing Nene off. And the last thing I want to see is Nene going off on Greg. Do y'all remember that scene? Now, it's not quite the same situation. But both their husbands was like sick or needed somebody to take care of them. Do y'all remember Kimberly Elise, aka Helen, And what she did to Steve Harris, aka Charles, in that movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman, when she pushed her husband in that wheelchair and dumped him in that big old whirlpool. And he was down there in the water trying to stay above the water. He was like, bloop, 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 bloop. I'm like, I do not want to see Nene. I don't want to see her going off on Greg and just finally crack and just finally like, okay, Greg, I done had enough. But yeah, that's what that reminds me of. Like, okay, this fool gonna say one more thing to me and it's on and popping. It's on and popping. But then when Nene received that big old bouquet of flowers just like Portia did, I'm like, what's up, dude? Getting they flowers? How you order flowers from Tokyo? I mean, where do you know what order the flowers from? I don't know. But anywho, she got her some flowers. And when she started reading that letter that was attached to it, that note that was attached to it, that's when I really started feeling sympathetic for Nene. I mean, she didn't expect him to send her anything. They were just on the phone, like arguing. When she first got there, they was on the phone arguing. She's been stressed out the whole entire trip. And the last phone call they had, he wasn't acknowledging her feelings. He was like, okay, Ann, your vacation sucks. Okay, Ann. But, so I'm like, when she started reading the letter, and the words that he put on the note, I'm like, dang. I mean, they were the most thoughtful and heartfelt. It was crazy because, like, one second he's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, what do you want me to do? Then the next second, he's sending her like $100 bouquet, or probably more, $200 bouquet, and he's like pouring his heart out and telling her how much he loves. Man, Nene just broke down again. I was like, Lord have mercy. I mean, she is like on a roller coaster. Like, I can't stand him. Oh, I love him. I can't stand him. Oh, I love him. But, whew, Nene, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Like Candy told Portia 5 years ago, the storm doesn't last forever. It's not going to rain forever. Eventually, the sun will come out. Eventually, the sun will come out. And then when they start showing all those older scenes, like, remember when they had got married again and he had proposed, the second time around, and they showed their beautiful wedding? Man, it's going to be okay, Nene. It's going to, death do y'all part. Till death do y'all part. And hopefully that won't come anytime soon, because I'm continuing to pray for them. And I know other people are continuing to pray for them and have faith that he is going to eventually, very soon, kick cancer in the ass, like he said at the beginning of the season. So hopefully hopefully everything will work out for them. Everything will work out. But when they had went to the it was the ladies, what was it called? Is it the Samurai? Is that martial arts studio? Is that what it was? Yeah, I think it was a martial arts studio. And they were up there when they first walked in and they saw all those men with those samurai. I can't never say that word right. Samurai, whatever. Them swords. And they was going around and charging at each other. And then one of the men fell down to the ground like he was dead and everything. They was like, oh yeah, we ready for this. We ready for this. They gave Nene that sword. And I was like, oh Lord. Is she going to be fighting Tanya? I just knew they was going to pair her together with Tanya. But they didn't. But when Cynthia fell on that floor, when she was fake killed, when she was fake stabbed, I was like, Cynthia. Like, okay. Cynthia has no acting skills. No acting skills. She got stabbed and she must have sat down on the floor. Just, and then like as if she was walking a runway, looking all graceful and stuff, she just laid back. Like I'm like, what is she doing? She just sat down on the floor and then she was like, just laid back all graceful and stuff. I'm like, Cynthia, you dead. They just killed you. They just killed you. You need to fall to the floor. Act like you in pain. She was just like, oh. I'm like, okay. But then when, oh my God, what's her name? When Shamari, she was up there. She was like, no, I'm sorry, Candy, hands down, the award goes to for the best actress. That would have to go to Candy. I mean, best actress in the scene, hands down, Candy Burris. She had it down packed. When it was her time to die, Candy, like she's been practicing it her whole life. Like she has been practicing her death her whole life. Okay. Y'all have to see it. If y'all didn't watch this episode, you have to go back and you have to watch Candy's death scene because she killed it. It was all in slow motion, all dramatic and stuff. I was like, okay, Candy, that's how you fake your death. But anyway, that was too funny. But they was having a lot of fun. But on the final night, when the ladies got all dressed up, and, they were in their kimonos and they went out to dinner. It kind of like just hit me. Like, do all the Japanese people, like, do they really sit down on the floor, like, every time they eat a meal? Or is this just like in restaurants? Because... and they didn't sit them right on the floor. Not this time. They didn't sit them right on the floor. They had like some low seats, like a low bench. And it looked like real cushiony and comfortable and everything. But I'm like, do they really sit on the floor all the time? Somebody let me know. I'm going to have to look that up. Because I really never thought about it before. But I'm thinking like, what happens when you get old? What happens if your knees go bad? What happens, if you're injured? Like, is there an exception for the rule? Can you pull out a chair? Is there an exception for the rule? But anyway, that just gave me something to think about, on their trip, because everywhere they went, they like trying to sit them on the floor. But anyway, Eva, on to a more serious note. Since she's getting married, and, also dealing with her father. I mean, not her father, but her grandfather. He's been sick. And she want to show appreciation to the ladies. They've been there for her. At first, when she took her last trip with her friends in the wedding party and didn't even invite Nene or any of the ladies, they was really, really, really hurt. Like, butt hurt. So, to show them some appreciation, she invited them on this trip. And she was just basically telling them, I really appreciate you guys. I'm going through a lot right now in my life, and I'm so glad you guys are here. And so she came up with the idea for them to each go around the room and, start stating like your highs and your wonderful experiences, that's going on in your lives right now. And then also let everybody know your lows, or something that you've been struggling with, recently or lately. And when Cynthia mentioned, how her lows right now is her one and only daughter, Noelle, soon leaving for college. And of course, if you a parent and you have a kid who has left for college, had to leave the nest, move out of town, you understand exactly where Cynthia is going through. So I understand it's kind of like you happy, but you sad, you're nervous, you're anxious, you proud of them, but you're scared. I mean, all these emotions go through your head. And I only got sons, but still I felt the same way. And my youngest one is about to go to college this fall. So I'm going to go through it all over again. But anyway, and then she was like, as far as her highs, after Peter, after she separated from Peter and they got divorced and everything, she vowed to never get married again. She didn't think that she would ever meet anybody else. Nobody else, she had, okay. She was with Noel's father. She was with, people after him. Then she met Peter. And then after that, she met, what was his name? Will. She met Will. And we saw how that went. But, she didn't have too many, successful relationships after Peter. And so she gave up. She was like, okay, I'm not getting married. I'll date. Nothing serious. Remember she said that? See, y'all, if y'all really been following the show, y'all remember specifically when she said that. No more serious relationships. And then it seemed like she keeps getting in serious relationships. But anyway, this one she thinks is it. She really thinks Mike Hill is the one. And that he possibly might make her change her mind. And I love Cynthia. I love Cynthia. I think she is probably, let's see, out of all the ladies, I probably like Cynthia the best, and then Nene, and then maybe Portia or Candy. It's a battle between them two. But I really like Cynthia. And I really wish her, happiness, because she's a great person. She's a wonderful person. And Mike must have some serious long distance skills. Some serious long distance skills and capabilities. To make her feel that way, but because they really don't get to see each other much. Besides FaceTime, they hardly see each other. So when I say some serious long distance skills and capabilities, y'all just gonna have to read through the line. Y'all just gonna have to read through the line. But then when it was time for Candy's turn, they was like, okay, Candy girl. Now, Candy, she always portrayed that her entire life is fabulous. Nothing ever goes wrong. Everything's perfect. Her relationship, her marriage, her kids, all that. Her businesses, everything. So they was like, okay, Candy, just give us one or two things. Just one or two things that are going on great in your life, and then cut it short, because it'll take all day. It'll take all day for you to be sitting there and bragging about everything that's going great in your life. But, they had to throw a little shade. A little shade. But anyway, Portia, she was telling them, her lows was kind of like Cynthia's. After she separated from Cordell, now, y'all remember, years ago, when she was married to Cordell, and basically he treated her like property. After she divorced him, she kind of everybody she met, nothing worked out. She was kind of having the same experiences with Cynthia. And really, really, really wanted to be in a relationship and wanted it to work. She wanted a baby. She wanted a family. And it seemed like it was never going to happen. And she kind of gave up on it. She kind of lost hope. But then she was like, when I met Dennis, my whole life done changed. He done changed my life. He done gave her new life, literally. He done gave her new life. She about to have a baby. And she really started getting emotional, because a lot of women, just like her and Cynthia, when they finally have hopes again, after having all those failed relationships, a lot of failed relationships, and then to finally have hope again that this is it, this is going to be your successful relationship, your happily ever after, that's a really good feeling. So I get it. I do get it. But then Candy, I was really, really shocked. I'm really happy for Portia. And everybody else seems really, okay. Now, Cynthia, she did say, right after Portia, said her little spiel, she was like, you know what? I'm so happy for you. How could someone not be happy for you? And you could see Candy looking all around y'all see Candy's eyes? She was just looking, how Candy is. She be looking all, And I was like, what is going on in Candy's head? But then when she opened her mouth and she was like, I got something to say. I was like, oh my God, what is Candy going to say? What is Candy going to say? Because all season long, she has been throwing shade at Portia's relationship. So I'm like, and then earlier in the episode, it seemed like, like I said, it seemed like she's accepting the fact that Portia's happy with Dennis. And when she started breaking down and crying and tearing up and apologizing, I was like, oh my God, that is so sweet. That is like really sweet because Candy, she saw what she sees in Portia is exactly what she sees in her own relationship. When Candy first started dating Todd, her mom, y'all remember her mom? She was all in her relationship. Everybody in Candy's life, not everybody, but a lot of people in Candy's life was like, oh, Todd is just out to use you. He trying to use you so he can take your money, so you can take care of him. You gonna be his sugar mama. I mean, her mother did not want her to be with Todd at all. She did everything possible to deter Candy from continuing a relationship with him. So she understands what it's like for people to be like prejudging him or judging him incorrectly just because she has a whole bunch more money than him and he doesn't. It's like, can't nobody just love me for me? Are you telling me a man will never love me for me? A man will never, I mean, that has to be a horrible feeling for somebody to tell you, oh, that dude just wants you because you got money. Like, that's all you got to offer. So, she was like, I get it. I get it. The things that you see in him, the things that he is doing for you and how he makes you feel, that's the same stuff that I experienced with Todd when everybody kept telling me he ain't the one. So, I'm really glad that it seemed like they made up. They hashed things out, and they again promised to work on their relationship and, communicate more. Which is exactly what they did at the beginning of the season. And you saw what happened. You saw what had happened. But hopefully, this time, I mean, Candy gave her a very heartfelt apology. So I really hope that, their relationship goes back to where it was before they got into it. Because remember, y'all, before that mess with Phaedra, the date rape accusations and threesomes. Y'all remember all that. Y'all remember that. Her and Candy had a very good relationship. So, I really hope they get back to that point. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. What do y'all think about Nene still having, still been upset with Tanya? Let me know how you feel about Candy. Do y'all think she was really sincere? I thought she was really sincere in her apology. I really, really do. And as far as Dennis and Portia, at first, I kind of thought Dennis was kind of maybe a little shady. But how do y'all feel about Dennis now? Let me know how y'all feel about Dennis. And of course, you guys, please again, keep Eva in your prayers. Keep Nene in your prayers. I know I done said that a few times after each of my reviews. But seriously, they are going through a lot right now, and it's real life stuff, like real life. And if you ever have to deal with anybody you love dealing with cancer, dying from cancer, having to bury them, I mean, you can never have enough prayers. So, again, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And again, let me know what you thought about this episode. Put it all in the comment section. And in the meantime and in between time, Prime Time Squad, as usual, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out.